Yoo-hoo. Lucy, I'm home. Hey there, Twitch. Oh, well, I'm getting back in the swing of things. Here it is, Sunday, and John had some guys come over who were filmmakers, and they looked interesting. So I popped them in on the live chat. Say sensei, yes. I'll say sensei. Sensei, yay, sensei, say sensei. That's me. Can you hear me now? Do I look good? Do I sound good? Is it all good? So those two young men in their 30s, they are passionate filmmakers. They live and do and have a life to make films, and they're kind of happy, and they. They just do. It's all good, good. We're all good. So that's the kind of thing tonight. What drives your passion? What makes you want to get up in the morning? What really is floating your boat? And what do you want to do more of? And how do you want to do more of it? Right. And we'll talk about that a little bit. And I think tonight we're going to go to the seat of love's co-creation, where all creation is made, right? And so that's why I kind of want each of you to speak up a little bit about what makes you passionate. What do you want to do? What's your thing, My thing is to, in every day and every way, take the piece of the earth and make it stronger. Hey, Twitch, hey, Al, hey, fuck nuts. The gang in here. So, gang, what drives you? What makes you passionate? Do you write every day? Do you think? What is that thing that really makes your life worth it? How do you measure why you're on this earth? What makes it Thursday was tough. I had my eyes operated on, and that process cost lots of money, but the doctor who invented it, he took a shine to your old sensei, so he put me on his program where I'm a lab rat. And Thursday was, I've had about 9 of these procedures, and hello, and usually it takes about an hour, but I had to be there for a number of hours because they did all kinds of tests. And what was good about it, the doctor said, this process, about 40% of everyone who gets this process, it stops the degeneration of their eyes. And then another 40% are people where their eyes are getting better. And there is 5% where not only are yours getting better, but your eyes are being healed, and it looks like you won't need this procedure for the rest of your life. At some point, your eyes will be fine. And that's what, after they did all the tests, the guy said, well, you're in that 5% category. So anyway, so I see really good right now. I don't have any floaters, no black dots, all the rest. My eyes are, in pretty good shape. So, but it still took a lot out of me. And Thursday and Friday, I was kind of just staying at my friend's house. That's really beautiful out there in the country, but it's almost like right downtown. It's kind of interesting. And Sunday was, another day. I just kind of took it easy, and then I came up here, and I feel fine. And I think the rest of the week will be fine, and I'm going to pursue a number of endeavors within the construct of the social, political. I mean, I met a whole bunch of people yesterday and Saturday that are, folks I did political stuff here with, try to make the city, county, state, country, and they want to try and do it again. So, my basic attitude is with everything I do, I try to do it complete, right? Because, from about 9 until 35, I did a zillion different things, and I did them all well, and it was like keeping plates, juggling plates, and it was okay, but I realized that I didn't really complete anything, and I didn't get that real sense of. I was having a lot of fun. I was doing a lot of stuff. I was helping a lot of people and doing things, but it didn't matter too much. I mean, it mattered, but not too much. And the whole thing about love's co-creation. Co-creation needs a certain level of completion, and that's why the material world of illusion is so strange. Is because nothing ever gets complete, right? And that's part of the Mandela effect. You never quite see the final product and doing its best, right? So anyway, so here it is, 7 minutes and 7 seconds. What I am currently building my own home so I can live a couple of years of, yep. Read books, learn for what Mother Earth has to teach. Yep, that's a good process. I've done that a number of times, and it's really fun building your own house. You make things the way you want them. And again, kind of put it to a place of where you're complete. It doesn't have to be, nothing's ever done, but there is a completeness that you can acquire. So, Eden, what of your building your own home? What is the thing that you like most about it? What really kind of makes you? Is this just a thing you're doing, or is there a point of passion about what you're doing? I'd love to know. Boo boo. Because if we're a cadre here, and I think our mission statement is to bring love to an every day and every way, take the piece of the earth and make it stronger through love's co-creation, thus giving everyone the opportunity, all our relations, to go home to love's co-creation, right? That's what we're doing here on Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. And again, you like this thing, just give me that thumbs up there, gang. If you're not subscribed, subscribe and be part of the cadre. And if you want to talk to me, get a hold of me at thedudeawake42 at Gmail. So, those two movie makers, they would, I think, when I interviewed them, I did it for you guys because I think they would be a good cadre. Both of those guys would be, I can tell, they don't have, they're not married, don't have any they're just got a job and they're making movies. That's their whole life. And I looked at some of their stuff and they're pretty interesting. So they would be fun to take along on the circus ride of the Traveling Video Art Circus. So anyway, so what do you think? Let's see. Do. Oh yeah. Ooh, do 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 do. It's a bridge towards being more free as a human. Yep, yep. Just want to be connected and not be distracted by. So one of the things that image is a bit too much. Oh, that's to 1940s. Oh, that looks cute. 8 millimeter. Yeah. Um, Photocells and wind generators. Go to the Whole Life Expo or Whole Life Times or Whole Life Mother Earth, and they have or go on to the Gmail and ask everything, insulation, everything, windmills, everything, water, everything, photocells. And one of the greatest ways, if you've got windmills and photocells, yes, car batteries and 12-volt lights, go and buy, I don't know if they still have them, but back in the day, they used to have lights that you did outside. And you'd get a kit with like 50 feet of wire and maybe 200 feet of wire and maybe, 10 or 20 of these light fixtures that would clamp onto the wire. And then you'd have a thing you'd plug into an outlet and had a timer and would turn the outdoor lights on. Well, those things are great to wire a house with. And like for the cost of $20 or whatever those things at Lowe's, you got a nice set. And also another great place for building your house is a place called Harbor Freight. And one of the really great things to do, you go to a junkyard and you find back in the day, Coca-Cola used to come in stainless steel tanks that had pressure takeoffs, right? And if you drill two holes and put two carbon anodes in there and you run the 12-volt juice from your battery through the water, it turns that water into hydrogen and oxygen. And hydrogen almost is at the same BTUs as propane. And so you can run a hot water heater off that. It's really, really something interesting to experiment with. And again, if you're building your house and you want to run some ideas, because I've built, at least 100 houses and apartments and all kinds of stuff. So, and a lot of them I've done alternative everything. So just remember, any kind of interesting and questions is always appreciated, and get a hold of me at the dude awake 42 at Gmail. Late summer. Eden, where is your house located? Here in America or some foreign land? And the other thing that I built many, especially the abandoned buildings that we brought up to code, I would just go through the garbage and the windows and doors and things that people threw out were amazing. Let's see. Hey Jane, good to see you. So Eden, how many? Is it way out in the woods? It's downtown. Is it on a nice chunk of land? You got a garden? What are you doing? England. Okay. What part of? So where is that? I know where Swansea, Cork. No, that's in Ireland. Swansea is in England. It's where the ferries are. Also, Woking. woodland. And this still has some nice countryside. More of the dresser. Yeah, that guy was scary. I don't know if you really want to hear more about that place in Rio. It was just too. I'm not really a big fan of that kind of energy. Well, the thing about batteries, Jane, is depends on what you want to use them for. Meaning, lithium batteries are great if you're not needing a lot of juice and you're tight on space, right? And weight. But if you want to run a house or something, what you do is you go to any place that has big diesel engines, like truck places, and also places that have big yachts with big diesel engines. And those guys have deep storage batteries, right? And what they need for those things is high amp turnover. And you have a deep storage battery of that nature and use it for a year, it starts to get sluggish on turning that big diesel motor over. But those batteries are still great for running 12-volt things, lights and little motors and in your stereo and stuff like that, charging your phone. So if you're doing what Eden's doing, building a house, and he wants to be more self-sufficient, deep storage, 12 volts, 24-volt batteries, that's the way to go. If you are just needing a battery, a long life battery to run electronics, then lithium is the way to go. But they're way more expensive. So the part of pizza. Okay, well, that's very nice. That's very. That was, I guess I'm gonna have a. Oh, I don't even see. I don't even to go through the process of getting a passport would take effort, and I have a sense that in the next few months there's that kind of stuff is going to go out the window, and the world will have a kind of. Do you guys know about in China the social ratings system they have? You can say whatever the heck you want in China, but if they don't like you, they knock you down on it's like your credit rating, but social rating. So, you don't get you don't get to go to college or the good college. You don't get to get the good job. You don't get to fly in an airplane. You got to take a bus. And if you're still mouthing off, then you got to take the bus with the chickens. And then if you're really still mouthing off, then you got to take a bike. And then if you're still mouthing off, then you got to walk. And they still mouth off, they take your shoes away. And we're heading in that direction because we are very soon. I mean, all our money is electronic, and instead of a barcode or whatever, no, they're just going to use our face. I mean, we are gang. The mark of the beast. We are it. We are carbon-based units, right? What is carbon? 6 electrons, 6 protons, 6 neutrons. We are the 666. Yeah, I know. All the trees are dying. It's sad. It was sad in the 80s. Just because a tree has leaves doesn't mean it's healthy. Yep, a squirrel could travel coast to coast without. And the one thing, if they tore those trees down for anything relevant, it would have been okay. But they tore it down for KFCs and Pizza Huts. It's like, really, bygone age. To return soon. Yep, I would agree with that, Inc. Long ago. Recent Russian blackjack sorting into North. Yeah, they do it all the time. And we do it to them. I mean, All of these guys do it. You got to realize that Russia and the United States, they are run by the same corporate oligarchy. This whole planet is run by the same oligarchy. If there's a war, it's only there for business reasons. I mean, why'd we go to Vietnam? Come on, Ho Chi Minh was our boy. He was educated at NYU. All he wanted was the Pepsi dealership. And then after he defeated the Japanese and the French ran away, and we promised that he'd be there, president. Who's the first guy? What's his name? Always told a lie. Washington. And that's what Ho Chi wanted to be. He wanted to be the Washington of the Vietnamese. So that war wasn't a communist war. It was a nationalist war. He was no communist. And Russia and us, we just, and that war was, what was that war about? It was about opium, pure and simple, about the Golden Triangle, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam, and tourism and oil, right? Tell us about the master. Okay, I can. That's a more interesting story because the dresser, he was just. Whew. So the master, right? So the master is like Lucifer's. He's on the inside of the corporate structure. He's like on the second level, right? There's Lucifer, and then his cadre that broke out of heaven. And then there's the second tier, and that's the master. And the master was a guy who was a German and a scientist, and he lived to know. And in the 1840s, and he was, his family were Prussian, and, they had been part of many, many wars, and it was all about money and power. And he came across a not cult, it's hard to explain. Things like this Theosophical Society and, the Dawn and the Voles. And there's a whole bunch of these folks, and they go back forever. And their brothers, they're like, initiates, right? And they stop being a human. They become a form of transhuman, right? And they have to give up that little bit that gives your avatar the thing that shares your soul, that mitochondria. You have to kind of give up the code. The code gets changed in your mitochondria when you become like Dorian Gray. You live forever. But it's a cheap scam, right? And so the master was all about that. And he had been in California, and he had set up a number of esoteric things, and he was there just at maybe 15 years after the mud flood, now maybe more, maybe 30 years after the mud flood, and maybe 10, 15, 20 years before the Civil War. And in California, they, he was of a ilk that the technology had is probably then, was probably 1,000 years ahead of where we are today in the market, right? So they had, energy, free energy, gravitational, electrogravitics, and lasers, and all that kind of, something, at least 50 years ahead of where we are right now. And he had that back in the 1840s. And so he kind of was tutored by Lucifer and was a tricky monkey, basically. And he, for the longest time, was trying to figure out how he could, double down and overturn Lucifer, right? And Lucifer was always 1,000 steps ahead of anybody, so it was okay. He was fine with that, and so after 90 years of that little thing and having whatever wealth and power, and he kind of got bored with it. And so he was trying to figure out a way to get his free will and his soul back. And that's about when I met him. And he saw me, instead of a tricky monkey, I was a cheeky monkey. Boing. But why is energy hijacked and not something else? Because the energy within the construct of the illusion is the only real thing there is. It's like the only commodity is that energy, right? And especially dimensional energy. Burning gasoline and coal, not so much. But, spirit energy, that's a high value source. And that's why all these games go on all around us. Because we're being played. Why is... let's see. In fact, we are running out of land. Yes. Yep, exactly. That's happening in the United States. All of these, like hurricanes and the fires, they're all made on purpose for real estate. Like, a good example is New Orleans, Katrina. That was done on purpose, and it blew that town apart politically. I mean, half the black folk and people who had certain elements that were constituencies, were run out of town. And FEMA had no idea what was going on in your house or your family, but Remax Realty did. They would find you in Texas and say, oh, look at your house. It's underwater. You have no insurance. We'll buy it for $20,000, right? About 50,000 people lost their property that way. And then they changed the laws. And New Orleans is going to become the new Las Vegas on the East Coast. And they're going to put a bubble over it, and it's going to be renamed as Atlantis. And, it'll be like Wiki Wachi. Water will be over the city, and that's in the next 50 years. And so that same thing that's happened to you, my friend, is happening to everywhere. Everyone's real estate. So in California, Paradise, right? What happened to those guys? The city had no money to do anything. So a investment firm came in and bought the city out from underneath, and they paid the elected politicians, the mayor, the alderman, the state legislators, the congressmen, the bankers. They bought them all off, and that city of Paradise is now owned by this firm. And not only does he own like all of the assets of the city, it also got to own all the property that people have. And not only own the property that people have, the air and water. If you want to know all the 411 of all of this, you go to stopthecrime.net. And that one site will give you more information about what's going on than that woman is a saint. She is like unbelievable. She is unstoppable. She's like a Rottweiler with a bone. She's unbelievable. And she was bourgeois. She was like, had her Chanel pearls when her house got incinerated, and no one called her. The firemen didn't show up. They wanted her friggin' dead. And so she said, okay, motherfucker, I'm going after you guys. Let's see. There is footage of the mushroom cloud from Russia. Oh, holy moly. Well, I haven't heard anything about Third World War. I wouldn't put it past anybody. Hey, fish. I'm not buffering, am I? Do, 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 do. Vampire Slayer. I just tickle them to death. Yep, yep, that's all I do. Well, I've been on the down low myself. I've, the few little videos I put up between Thursday and now were not our usual chats. They were more like performance art. Because while I'm looking at this, the long picture is that, years from now, people will be looking at this stuff going, wow. And remember, guys, you are the initial cadre, so, you are hot stuff. Sure, economics is that. But all of that is eaten. The nature of economics is that poison has become the natural political monetary ego, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. There's only one truth, and that's love's co-creation. All this crap is just an illusion. I keep saying, we have to define a new aesthetic, one not based on taste. Well, Jane, everybody gets their just desserts, and that's why it pays to be our sweet selves, because then your just dessert is sweet instead of bitter. Well, the real thing, Jane, is, Master, he's not dying anytime soon. He wishes he could die. He wishes everything would go black. Not going to happen. So he was not a happy guy. That's why he sent me to be with that tribe that were untouched. I was the first white guy those guys in the forest ever saw. They knew I was coming, but only through the ether, not through anybody's cell phone. Well, they're trying, Jane. They're trying, I see them. I'm in both places I live in a very, very rural place, and they're putting up 5G there first. I don't know why. Maybe it's a test bed. Yep, smart meters and California fires. Yep, it's meaning, and you don't have to have a smart meter. You can say I don't want it. That was the only way they could sneak them in. You have the choice, but no one knows they have the choice. So if they're, like around where I am, they didn't do that. But here at the school, they did, and so I said no, and so they didn't. And then when I left, they pulled it out, and John had he had no idea that they put a smart meter in there. And, I would say a good portion of John's issues are, he is such a sensitive guy, things like that really affect him. So. But that site, stopthecrime.net, go take a look. And the other one is Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. Those two sites will give you more velocity down the rabbit hole than most people can stand. But see, they're doing all this crap, right? And it really shows that these morons don't have, they're hanging on by their fingernails. Meaning, I started doing this, in October with, the 40 days and 40 nights, and the window of opportunity is open, right? So that's where we're at. I mean, we're really, I'm gravitationally challenged. I can't get up. Oh, okay. He's up. He's up. He's up. Oh, yeah, he's up. So, there's 11 of you there. So why don't you guys start telling me what you're passionate about? Eden is building his house, so he's passionate about that. Jane, what are you passionate about? What if you had one thing to go, wow, this is what I'm going to do, what would it be? Because, going on about smart meters and the woman who does this, stop the crime, that's her life, that's her thing. But it's really tough. I mean, I've been part of those kind of worlds. And it's so fun. This is fun. Having this cadre, us trying to redefine an aesthetic the world can, live in peace with. That's fun. That's great. That's something I'm passionate about, right? And I've been passionate about lots of, my art, my writing, my teaching, I've been involved in many movements. And for the time I was in them, I was very passionate, especially after the first movement I was in. I realized, the master, the guy who I met, he wasn't Lucifer or Satan. He was on the second rung. He was just, the guys on the first top rung, you don't get to see them. They don't walk around. They're not. The guy in Brazil who was the master, he ran things. People saw him. People were scared of him. Whereas Lucifer, Satan, those guys, the demigods, you don't get to see them. The guys who run the New World Order, NWO, they're just, Rockefeller, Henry Kissinger, Rothschilds, the Queen of England, they're just poster children, they're just there. They aren't in control. They're not running the show. So Lucifer and Satan and all the other demonic, brouhahas, you don't get to see them. So they're not there. So, but Master in Brazil, he was the master of his neck of the woods, right? Like a duke or a earl or whatever. All our exploring will be right where you started. Yep, exactly. And now the place for the first time. Yep. Well, it's going to collapse a lot quicker than that. But they're going to try and, 2008 was just a test bed to see what people would do, how they'd react. So, I got a good little story for you. We're at 40 minutes, maybe take 15. I was at Cornell University in 1988. And in 1986, there was the, savings and loan collapse was way worse than '08 because it took out 30,000 banks and replaced it with 20. And so right before the collapse, they gave everyone as much credit as they wanted. And then the collapse happened, and they took everything away. And so up there, Cornell, it's the Finger Lakes. It's beautiful, all these rolling hills and dairy farms. And the banks lent them money to buy harvesters and stuff, and then 3 years later,
they tried to foreclose, and they were going to let a corporation bury nuclear waste in the hills of the Finger Lakes. One of the purest water areas of drinking water on the planet, and they're going to put nuclear waste in the middle of that water. Anyway, the people of the three counties rebelled, and they actually seceded, left the Union. And Cornell's smart guys, so they developed their own debit cards that you could trade, you know, a chicken for babysitting, and it all got swiped, and it actually worked quite well. And it was loads of fun, but the corporate world unplugged. No going to Disneyland, no gasoline, no electric grid, no cable TV, no all the above, right? No credit cards. And for 3 years, those three counties had a great time. They did it nicely. Cornell had all these smart people, started Ithaca College, and everybody said, up yours, corporate world. And the corporate world knew. I said, okay. So they just kind of eased back and let us do what we did. And after 3 years, everyone got bored. Everyone wanted cable TV. Everyone got tired of swapping VCRs, videos with each other. And yes, it was fun dancing with everyone. And yes, we all had organic gardens. And yes, it was great. But people got bored. They wanted to, the winter time, they wanted to get the heck out of Ithaca and go to Florida or someplace. They couldn't. And so you should go check that out. And it's really interesting because it's real Mandela effect, because as the years slide by, it's still there. If we were to look up Ithaca Bucks, that would be a good place to start, And but the story that is told now on the internet is so different than what was there. I was right there, right? And what happened was, so the corporate world came back after 3 years and said, "Okay, kids, we'll let you into the fold. Just never tell anyone about this, And we will. We know you're sensitive, so we will not do that again, and we won't try and roll right over you, and but just don't tell anyone else what you did." And there's a lot of that. There are a lot of people who figure things out and then get a big check or a bullet in the head, or somewhere in between, and that's been my path, somewhere in between. So, what are we asking about here? Yeah, there's nothing to be scared of. We can do anything. Yep. My grandma had a great saying. She goes, "Never ask for permission, just say you're sorry." And in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, up to 9/11, I just did whatever the heck I wanted, and no one even noticed. And then the powers that be who did notice came over. "Well, you just do that?" I said, "Yeah." Well, that was kind of cool, yeah. So it was, as long as you don't diss the powers that be, you can almost do whatever the heck you want. On the menu. Ooh. Yeah, oils on wood always look very nice. Very nice. Okay. So we're about 45 minutes. We got about 12 people here. And I was thinking of taking you guys into the guided meditation of the workshop. And the workshop is a place where you can go, and it's in your lodge, just how, Master Akasha K's Hambu is in the corner of your lodge. The workshop All right. The hambu is not in, it's in your lodge, but it's out there in the garden, right in one of the corners. And the workshop is too, right? In the workshop, you might have been there. It's part of the greenhouse, and the workshop is right next to it. But it's stone. It's like where you know, if you want to make up plants, if you want to, you know, pot something, if you want to build something, if you want, all the tools are there, all the books are there. It's another library there, another reference, and it's about achieving and doing something. You can go to your Akashic record and look things up like this, but this it's a workshop, so you can like put the book right in front of you and start getting at it. So I think when we hit 50 minutes, we'll you know, go there. Okay, so everyone get into a semi-comfortable place, right? And start focusing your conscious mind on your breath, breathing in that 20%. Breathing out to 30%, breathing in the 20, out to 30. See clearly. Oh. And one. You're in a deep, 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 deep state of relaxation. Your conscious mind is focused on your breath. You're breathing in 20% more than you normally do. And when you do that, when you breathe deeper than your autonomic system is going there, you you close down the distraction of your Rolodex, of your mind. You know, people kind of talk about the mind, body, spirit. You know, the mind is very limited. It's just a Rolodex. It's just, you know, like a hard drive. It's not really anything of the creative motif. So check what out again? Check out, let's see, I'll run through a bunch of things. Check out stopthecrime.net. Check out Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. Check out anything about the Eco Village, anything about alternative power, photo, wind, and turning electricity into hydrogen, oxygen using water. Right? And you can do a lot very simply. And insulation and windows, and most of all this stuff you can get. You know, if you got a truck, you drive around, look what people are throwing out, right? Go to the dump, right? So, and that is part of where we're going this evening, because we're going to the workshop, which is located in your lodge, right there in your garden, in one of the corners of the garden. You know, Master Akasha K's Hambu, where you learn about martial arts and how to protect yourself and how to protect everything you care about, is there. See it clearly. And your conscious mind is breathing in that 20%. You're breathing in that prana, and you're taking that energy. That is the energy, the unsellable, saleable energy of love's co-creation. That is everywhere. You know, see it clearly. Let's see. The powers that be can suck it. This is true, buddy. I like to call them the powers that shouldn't be, right? Or the powers that aren't. Because they only, the only reason that the powers is because they think they should be. They have no real authority. None of these entities within the construct of the illusion have any authority whatsoever, right? And that's why, see, the problem with illusion is people will kill you. They're suffering, they're miserable, they can't stand, they want to kill themselves, but they'll kill you first if you threaten their misery, right? It's the misery they know. And that's part of the whole construct of the illusion of being a mud puppet. Dust to dust, mud puppet to mud puppet. So, but you guys are focused on your breath, and you're energizing your body, and you're breathing in the prana. It's filling your lungs 20% more, and the blood is passing through your lungs, and that iron-rich blood is carrying the prana to every cell of your body, and it's swirling against the walls of the veins, the arteries, and the cells. And first it goes clockwise, and then inside of that swirl there's a counterclockwise, inside of that one is a clockwise. And that's the polyphase alternating current of scalar energy. And that is what is the energy that, gives your avatar its presence. Otherwise, it's just a bag of water. Your body is just a bag of water. And the alchemist part is changing that, ugly bag of metal water. We have all these metals in our water. It's changing that lead in our bag of water into gold. And that gold is the thread that connects to our higher consciousness. See it clearly. And that gold is the thing that covers the edge of the pages in our Akashic record. So, one, your conscious mind is totally focused on your breath. You're no longer aware of being in your avatar. You are standing in your imaginary mirror, totally surrounded by photonic light. And you're taking that photonic light that you created by breathing in the prana and energizing the mitochondria of every cell of your body and grounding it through the chi, right, through Mother Earth. And this is what heals and purifies Mother Earth, right? Not some Yahoo geoengineering. See it clearly. And by doing this, the more we do this, this is what we do to take the piece of the earth and make it stronger. Just breathe 20% more and breathe out 30%. See that clearly. See yourself illuminating yourself in your imaginary mirror, and you're projecting that photonic light into your subconscious. And your subconscious is not a scary place. It is simply the library of your soul's experience. It's your Akashic record. See it clearly. You're walking in front of you is the big fireplace of the eternal flame. And in front of that is your reading table, where a photonic light coming in every direction is illuminating your table. There are no shadows. And without shadows, you cannot be afraid. Because when you can see things clearly, there's nothing to be scared of. See it clearly. And then behind the desk is your reading chair. And to your left is your librarian who brings you the information, your animal totem that gives you a story to give you perspective on the information, and your guardian angel that always has your back. So you're always safe. So, there you go. You're sitting down, and your librarian brings you your Akashic record. You open it up. You take your left hand and you put it on, excuse me, your right hand, and you put it on the right page. You take your left hand and put it on the left page. And then you lean into your Akashic record and you evacuate all the toxins of you, all the emotional toxins, all the anger, all the hate, all the fear, all the avarice, all the anxiety, all the envy, all the self-loathing. Just get it out of you. And as you do, you will become lighter than air. And you will float up and you will move yourself to the shortcut between your, library and your lodge. And your lodge resides in the Oracle of Delphi, which is the house of Frank Lloyd Wright, that is known in Pennsylvania as falling water. And the oracle has water falling through it, which brings knowledge and truth and openness, and that's what falling water is, the totally Aquarian motif. See it clearly. And the Oracle of Delphi, within the house of falling water, is located in the eastern part of your superconscious mind, your sanctuary of your own choosing. But there's a shortcut that goes straight to your lodge, because within the Oracle of Delphi, you walk through these gigantic doors, and above it says "Know Thyself," and you go into the great vestibule. There's the coat room and a fireplace, and you move forward, and there's a big opening area, and that is what is known as the Commons Room. And off the Commons Room are all of yours lodges. That's your individual lodge, where you will find your lodge set up just the way you want it. And it's like your home, away from home, welcome home. And in it is your lodge guide. And that guide can be anyone. See it clearly. And there's a nice sitting room, and there's a nice bedroom, and there's a library, and a kitchen, and a dining room. And off the dining room, these big French doors go out to a balcony and steps that go down into your garden. And in your garden, you have a tree of truth and a pond of the Great Lake, where you throw your pebble in and you become that wave that is the tsunami of love. And in one corner of the garden is Master Akashike's Hambu. That's his school. Its school, her school. The master is not quite gender-oriented and more energy-oriented. And so that school, you learn all the lessons from our master Akashike. Right? Then there's a big greenhouse in the other corner of the garden, and next to it is a part of the greenhouse is called, the handyman special, the creative bin, the construction apparatus. I mean, you want to create something. This is where Tesla would go and develop his great electrical machines, right? And he would be in that state, and and in that space of co-creation of anything is also connective tissue to all of the other worlds. Meaning, if you need any guides or assistance from all the other worlds we've visited, there's a place like the fireplace, right, that a assistance can come to you. You have to call for it, give it permission to come in, It won't come in without your permission. It can communicate to you without coming there, but you know, this is your workshop. It's your place to create. And loves co-creation is there completely. So I'm going to. It's 1 hour and 1 minute and 1 second. And I'm going to be quiet while you're in your workshop and you're co-creating. Let's see what you can do. Again, the tools that you truly need for this is your passion. Everything else is given to you, but you have to bring your passion to this. You can't be in your workshop and just be bored, you know? Okay? Okay. And 2, you're in a deep, 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 deep state of relaxation. Your conscious mind is totally focused on your breath. And with your breath 20% in and 30% out, you are energizing every cell in your body. And by doing that, you are regenerating your avatar, making it heal and healthy and aware and awake as a vehicle for your consciousness. See it clearly. And every day and every way you're going to take the piece of the earth and make it stronger through good thoughts, good words, good actions, good deeds, good outcomes. See it clearly. And I would love it if you were to go to my blog, xratted.blogspot.com, and start reading my novel. And you can take any cut you want, right? And there's, everyone is excellent. I would suggest you read quickly, pick one cut, and each one is no more than 40 pages, give or take, and read the whole thing as best you can in one sitting. And if anything confuses you or you can't even read it, just keep pushing through, right? And then read the next cut, and the next, and the next, until you get a sense of all 6 cuts and which one do you like the best. Then go read that one again, slower, right? And then read that one again a 3rd time, where you go slow and you take apart everything, the run-in sentences, the bad grammar, and you write notes. If your computer lets you put notes on the side of the text you see on the screen, that's good. If not, maybe print it out and write on a piece of paper. When you do that, you're going to be able to understand the code I use. And that code is in everything I do. It's a shamanic code. It's an alchemical code. And all 300 of these live chats that we have done, I have coded. Why do you guys really like this so much, right? It's because I'm putting this code. And if you consciously go back and first read that one novel, I could have put the other 25 up there. I could have put the last third of that one up there. But no, I put this one specifically the way it's written. It is a key
to the code. And this will be fun, adventurous. You'll be able to practice all of your tools. You read it quickly. You read all of them quickly. You pick out the one you like best, and you read it again and again. You take some notes, and the fourth time you read it in your Akashic record. And there you got, the 28 little screens to take apart forensically every sentence I write, and it'll give you the code. And, if you need to know anything else, your librarian will bring you another book. And if that just, doesn't do it, then you ask your animal totem to tell you a story, right? And no matter what comes up, you will not be scared because you have your guardian angel to watch your back. If you still need more insight, you can take the shortcut to your lodge, and your guide is there to give you help. Take you into your library there, look at your Akashic record there. It's the same one but a little different, and then you can go into your garden, and you can go to the workshop, or you can go to the greenhouse, or you can go to Akasha K's Hambu. See it clearly. So, I've just reinforced the technique, the process, and I'm going to let you think about it. And and you have all these assets, all these tools. Pick up that thing that you feel most passionate about and try to process it through what I just told you. And then later, after we finish this chat, go online and start looking at my writing, right? And again, you want to talk personally to me? I mean, my Gmail is open to all, and all of you have got a hold of me on one way or another, and pretty much I respond, as however, as deeply as you want. I'm not a surface. Oh, hey, how you doing? Like your hair? No, I kind of go pretty deep into whatever subject you want to ask me about. So I am here as your sensei. That's what I'm here to do. Your sensei Alba, right? And we are working towards creating a alternative aesthetic here, right? And we are working towards putting together a strategy to bring love's co-creation to all our relations and popping the bubble of the illusion, not to argue about it, not to whine about it, not to fight it, not to pick a side. No, there's only one side, and that's love's co-creation. And everyone gets to get on the bus. Everyone goes home, even Lucifer, right? That's the only way this is going to work, is that everyone gets to go home, right? And it's going to take us a while to get there, to get all this strategy done. But we will enjoy it because we are the cadre, we are the chorus, we are the shock troops of love's co-creation. See it clearly. Again, I'm going to be quiet for a moment, and you guys look at that thing that you're most passionate about, and then when we come back, I want you to chat about that. What you are most passionate about. How you want me to assist you to show you how to use the tools that I've offered you. See it clearly now.
Here it is, 1:11:11. Another synchronistic moment. So, what do we got here? You've seen that clearly, buddy. Good health. Yes. Yawn clearly. Okay. So Buddy wants lunch. He's down there in the bottom of the planet. And has anyone done any homework on the mud flood that, between 1790 and 1840, good old Nehru came flying by us and caused real havoc, killing about half the human population, causing, nuclear winter, not with nuclear weapons, but through volcanoes covering the troposphere and no sun getting in and nothing growing. And go look up this, July when London's Thames froze over. That was right in the middle of this. New York City had a gigantic snowstorm that, wasn't supposed to snow. It wasn't even winter, and it had like this snowstorm and unbelievable crash. 1 million people died in New York City by this. I mean, they were all working in factories. It looked like, oh, look, it's snowing. Hey, it's July. What's going on? And the owners of the factory said, no, you can't go home. So it wasn't until about 4 o'clock when there was 10 feet of snow out there, the guy said, well, everybody go home. And the trains, nothing worked. And people froze to death on the sidewalks, There's a lot of that between the 1790 and 1840. And, go look up a guy named Charles Forder, who was a newspaper science editor for the Herald Tribune, New York, and the rest of the world. And he kept coming up against stuff like this, and he wanted to publish stories about it. And his editor said, sorry, buddy, can't do it. So he got fired, and he started a thing called the Fortean Society. Go look that up. I was part of that. That's like pretty interesting stuff. And there used to be a show on Sci-Fi Channel, I think called Warehouse 13 or something like that, where all the secrets were hid. Well, that was the Fortean Society. It was quite interesting. And I was part of that. I was a inspector. they had titles like that. And that was kind of fun. I had a card saying Inspector Sensei Al Bob. And it's almost like being Doctor Who. I mean, I would hand this out and people just kind of look at it. And, I mean, today I have an interesting business card that I hand to people, and they just kind of look at what the. So, okay. See, it's clearly I'm not in state, but I am in state, buddy. Buddy, you're always in state. And that's what the best thing about the cadre is, that we're always in state, even though we're all over the place, and we're the best bunch of goofballs I've seen in a long time. Really, when things get weird, the goofballs get professional. Commence with the drumming. Well, I got to get a drum first. Let's try this. No, that won't work. This is a good rattle, though. I like rattles. Anyway, so it's 1 hour and 16 minutes and 41 seconds. So, the next thing is that we need to visualize. It's another tool, right? So we've been doing a lot of visualizing, right? I take you to places. You're in state, you see them. We go to your workshop. You visualize that. Your lodge. You visualize. You know, the Oracle of Delphi, your house, right? Your superconscious mind. You know, the sanctuary of your own choosing, your library. All of these things you're visualizing. So I want you to start visualizing what you want in your life. Like Eden, when you built your house, right? You had to visualize it, or you even drew a picture of what you wanted. You had to visualize it, right? So everyone, I want you to, this is one thing. I ask you to do things and I can see it energetically, but we're not talking about it. So what I'd like to hear from you guys is the description of the things you want to visualize, to make happen. Hey, Elizabeth, where is it 1:22 a.m.? It's like 8 o'clock here, so... Are you in London? You in England? You in Europe? Where are you? Ooh-wee. Elizabeth, are you in wintertime or summertime? Because Buddy there, he's in summertime, aren't you, Buddy? Is it still really sweaty like it was last time? You still like at 27C? Just wrapping up, finishing on a slab of ashwood. Eden, fish, ink, Buddy. Well, that's not a bad thing. Your mind going on state. The thing about when your mind goes on state, that's all right. Just be aware of it, conscious of it, and see what small little nudges you can use to navigate it to where you want to take it. Don't let it tell you, let yourself kind of, you don't have to like hit it with a hammer, just little nudges. Yeah. So, the thing about Diamond, I really like Diamond. He's a really nice person, good heart, really smart. He's a real, but he's had to suffer so many things, and you can do one of two things about suffering. You can just use it as experience and learn, or you can wear it like a badge and have it weigh you down. You know, I'm more a fan of learning from things. Let's see. Glamour. What's glamour look like? That doesn't look too glamorous. Dance party. My favorite dance party. We're going back to dance party. And the rant comes from the folks. The one thing I always am amused somewhat on YouTube is the diversity. There's so much stuff on the YouTube. It's unbelievable, right? But it kind of breaks down into two schools. One school basically thinks they're right. It doesn't matter, what flavor of their right they are. They're right. And Diamond is a guy like that, and his buddies are like, they're right, and they bump into things and push things around thinking they're right, but they're no more right than anybody else, right? And then there's the crew who loves co-creation, and we don't have to be right. I know I'm not. I know nothing. I got some good stories, but that's why I'm a griot. I don't pretend to be right or to know, right? I am Sensei Al Bob. I'm a teacher, so I can teach you, but that doesn't mean I'm more like the carpenter, the electrician, the plumber, the plasterer. I know how to, build that table or fix that hole in the wall or make the light work. But it's not that I'm right. I thought you'd like it, buddy. Esoteric Dragon, my friend. Good to see you, 3-3s. So that's it. That's we're just in every day and every way we're taking the piece of the earth and making it stronger. We are working together and we love each other. We are a cadre. When we speak, we are a chorus. Good thoughts, good words, good actions, good outcomes, good deeds. See clearly. So, unless you got questions for me, you want to go a little deeper. I think because again, I'm kind of getting tired. My body is, when it gets dark outside, it wants to go to sleep. When the sun comes up, I was staying at my friend's and she has this gigantic skylight. And so when it gets dark, the place is darker than dark. As soon as any light comes up, it's coming through the skylight. And so it was, I was waking up this, last 4 mornings at 6ish, right? The other thing I see every day that I was there, the sun goes down and kind of comes through this one window. She built this house with light in mind. And what I've noticed that with each day, the day is a minute or two longer than the last. So right now, at the longest day of the year, I guess that was winter solstice, December 21st, something like that. It got dark at 4:30. Now it gets dark at 6:30. So that's pretty amazing. So spring will be here soon-ish, and the cold will diminish. And a lot of you will come visit me. in the green, right? And others will come and we will strategize on bringing forth the Humanities Artists Trust International and the Institute for Aesthetically Adept and Appropriate Technologies and the Traveling Video Art Circus. So we can have this ready for next fall semester, go off to colleges, right? Where we can all, if we do this right, and I've done this before, so it's not like a brand new idea. We could easily, 10 people could easily make somewhere between $1,200 and $5,000 a week and have a lot of fun. And do something that you will remember for the rest of your freaking life. And you may even be remembered by a large population of the planet. So I think that sounds like a fun thing to do in the next 6 months. In a tiny village in East Sussex. Oh, you're in England. If I went to news saying got snow. Yeah, you guys have been getting pretty hit, but man, nothing like Germany. Germany and going east is like getting whacked like they've never seen it. So, Elizabeth, you're having one of the stronger winters of your memory, right? Again, I'd love to hear from any of you and all of you at the Dude Awake 42 at my Gmail account. And you got any questions? You know, a couple of you have sent me photos of your hands to have me read them. But man, you've only like this one picture was like, you know, like this much. You know, no, I need to see like from up here to about here of your whole hand, both sides, for me to really give you a reading. And so I'd love to hear from you, right? Again, go take a look at my writings on xratted.blogspot.com. There's 6 cuts. Read anyone you want, you know. Read it quickly first, and a lot of it will like, huh? And read it slower the second time. Third time, read it slower even, and take each sentence and scribble all over it, and you know, because it is a code. This is a key to teach you how to read things. And I kind of want to start talking about this with you guys, right? I mean, yes, you're fun. You make great comments about this, that, and the other thing. But, you know, this is, you know, I am a teacher. I am trying to teach you some stuff. And yes, you are learning it, you know, because before I do this, I set this up shamanically, energetically. And on the backside, I use alchemy to bring forth the best outcome for all of you. So, but you're going to have to, Colorado, yes, Trish is in Colorado, USA. We got snow this past week. Yep. And hopefully we won't. Because we just got an inch of snow 2 weeks ago, and then it went down below 9 degrees for 2 weeks, and that snow turned into a sheet of ice. I couldn't even think of moving my car. Now it rained and got hot, and that all went away, and that's why I was able to escape. But it was still, cabin fever. Anyway. Okay. So again, xratted.blogspot.com. And if you want to talk to me personally, the dudeawake42 at Gmail. And I look forward to hearing. And again, keep the links and things coming, because you always send me great things. And go take a look at that stopthecrime.net. That'll blow your friggin' minds. And we can talk about that, And, how could, I really do love and care for Diamond on Oppenheimer Ranch. And I would ask everyone to pray for all those people on YouTube who actually bring forth some good information, help people, but they get so taken away. you know, let's bring love into their life with prayer. Okay, so here we go. Here it is, 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 33 seconds. And we start with Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, as it was in the beginning, is now, ever shall be, world without amen. Oh, and in every day and every way, let's take the piece of the earth and make it stronger with love's co-creation. Oh, I love you guys. Oops. Whee! That is stopping people from experiencing the other dimensions with our physical perception senses. Well, it's fear. If you want to bring it down into one word, is fear. People will do the most amazing things so they can stay stuck, and they'll kill you if you're going to try and break their worldview of being a schmuck. So that's, fear is it. So you got the tool to break through, my friend, is laughter and art, right? Why is George Carlin so amazing? Why is Mr. Hicks so amazing? Because they bring forth realizations through humor, and they are more than just humorists. They are artists in the written word, because they write that stuff and then they practice it and bring it forth in dissertation, radio waves with carrier blocking frequencies. Yes, that's true. I mean, one of the best ways, if you want to get a really good night's sleep, you build yourself a little pyramid with PVC pipes. I mean, it's the shape, it's the geometry that matters. The pipe's not so big a deal. And you make it big enough to go over your bed, and oh baby, that'll change your life, your day. Another thing is to build yourself a Faraday cage, which is a grounding cage of copper and then non-conductive metal and then copper, and they're grounded. And if you're inside that, not a single wave can get to you of any type, right? And then the other is Wilhelm Reich's orgone box. You build 3 of those, and I'd say under $200 worth of stuff you can get at the hardware store or Lowe's or in a garbage pit will be all you need to make these 3 apparatuses, which will cure whatever's ailing you and make your life amazingly connected. And once you build those things, remember, visualize every aspect of you putting it together, getting the materials, drawing a picture on what you're going to do, doing the research on it. And a good place to start would first be in your Akashic record, and then go to Shambhala and talk to all those guys in person. I mean, that is the greatest tool, going to the place where the horse's mouth is, right? Well, I'm sure they will. You're white enough; they'll let you in, And you'll always have a place with me, buddy. Wherever I am, I share mine with you. Not a problem.
Again, when spring comes, come on to the old deep green because, man, like I said, it's in the middle of a 200-mile square bubble of Appalachian uber poverty. So the powers that be don't, there is no cell towers, there is no cable TV, there is no factories with belching, you know, smokestacks. There is no, the water is amazingly pure. There's virtually no one around. And there's no light, meaning at night when I'm out in my open area, look up at the stars, it's mind boggling. So, and I have a big river right behind me. I have a gigantic lake half a mile from me and a waterfall in my backyard. Snow! Well, fish, I hope you like snow. Because those who like it do well with it. Those who don't like it, not so much. I love snow. Well, there you go. You got your skis and your everything, and a good pair of gloves and a nice hat. You're all good. Yes. Well, there's parts, if Boone, North Carolina, they get snow. That's a skiing. That's why that college is such a hipster town. Yeah, Colorado is amazing, fish. That's if you like snow, that's the place for you to be. Yep. Get your provisions in, Elizabeth. This is what you need. Oh, that's good. I'm an Aquarian. My feet are like my feet and ankle are my, most ginger part of me. Yeah, you got to be a pretty tough person to go out in the snow in your bare feet. Yeah, but I knew people who did it. I like it warm. I once got frostbite on my feet going skiing, so that's what put. I lived in New Hampshire and Vermont for a number of years, so I kind of give me a warm place any day. But I dress for the weather, so I always wear gloves and my thermals when I go out in the snow. Anyway, it's going to. So, did all of you get to your workshop? Did you see how you can use all the apparatus, tools, and access to information to create whatever you want? Right? That's what it's about. And Akasha K's Hambu is all about learning how to protect yourself on every aspect. Well, I'm going to fade out, and it's now 1 hour and 40 minutes, so between now and 1:44:44, I will say goodnight. I'll keep going if you want to keep talking, but otherwise, sweet, sweet dreams to you. Here we are tonight, we are. Good night, good night. Sweet, sweet dreams to you. Be good to each other. Communicate with each other. I'm sure you all have gotten each other's everything. You're much more. You are adept at that, that's for sure. The social universe. And me, your sensei Al Bob, is just learning. I'm an old dog who can learn new tricks. Snow Angel, yep. snow angel, you're a snow angel to me. Dragon, Fish, Bob, Buddy, Ink, Jane, Elizabeth. Sweet dreams, my friends. Stay well. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's time to go. I'll see you in the morning sometime. Like between 8 and 9:30ish Eastern Standard Time. And then tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. And if any of you guys, while you go to sleep, while you think, while you do any of that, come up with anything, did you have a vision from what we talked about and visualized this evening? I would love to hear from you, and I will take it further, right? And the thing about the master, I will leave you with this. The dresser, don't waste your time. That guy is just damaged goods. The master, now that's an interesting person. I would love it if you guys sit down at your journal and write a autonomic image and story of the master. I've given you enough 411 on who and what he was. He is a weak link in Lucifer's egocentric thing that we call the universe. So, okay, my friends, I'll catch you later.